The Philippines has just activated a new drone battalion, and the timing couldn't be more important. For the first time, Manila is pairing up with Ukraine, a nation battle-tested in drone warfare, to develop and even co-produce drones. This partnership could redefine how the Philippines defends its islands and sea lanes. In modern conflicts, drones are no longer just eyes in the sky. They are scouts, precision weapons, loitering munitions, and even kamikaze vessels at sea. Ukraine's defense has proven this. Small, cheap, and smart drones have sunk warships, destroyed armor, and reshaped battlefields. For the Philippines, an archipelago spread across 7,641 islands, drones are not optional. They're essential for surveillance, defense, and deterrence against far larger powers. In the hands of the armed forces of the Philippines, drones are not just tools. They are the great equalizer, a chance to defend the homeland with speed, intelligence, and precision that outpaces size and numbers. Nowhere has this been more clearly proven than in Ukraine. Their small, inexpensive, and highly adaptable drones have done what once required billion-dollar platforms. They've sunk Russian ships in the Black Sea, shredded armored columns on the battlefield, and forced a superpower to constantly adapt. Drones have turned asymmetry into strength. The Philippine military has been steadily and quietly laying the groundwork for a drone revolution. In major joint exercises like Balikatan and Salaknib 2025, Filipino and U.S. forces didn't just march side by side. They trained extensively with unmanned aircraft and counter-drone systems. Soldiers were introduced to new tactics, from operating fixed-wing reconnaissance drones to maneuvering fast, nimble FP5 units designed for frontline strike missions. What's more, they've been experimenting with innovation in the field, assembling 3D-printed drone models on the spot, testing how cheap, modular designs could be scaled up in a real conflict. Units even practiced swarm tactics, coordinating multiple drones to overwhelm defenses, a method once thought to be futuristic, but now proven effective in modern battlefields like Ukraine. And this year, those experiments became official doctrine. The Army stood up its first dedicated drone battalion, a full unit tasked with integrating unmanned systems into everyday operations. This move is historic. It signals that drones are no longer seen as gadgets or side projects, but as permanent tools of Philippine defense. For the first time, the Philippines has recognized that the battles of tomorrow will be fought not just by soldiers on the ground, but by swarms of machines in the air. Ukraine, on the other hand, has been forced to master the art of drone warfare in the harshest classroom possible, the battlefield. Under constant attack, Ukrainian engineers and soldiers turned necessity into innovation. They built loitering munitions capable of striking tanks from above, swarms of FPV drones that cost only hundreds of dollars, yet destroy equipment worth millions, and unmanned surface vessels, naval drone boats that have rammed directly into Russian warships, rewriting the rules of naval combat. Every strike, every test, every loss refined their systems further. Today, Ukraine stands at the cutting edge of drone warfare, not because of theory, but because of survival. And now, that hard-won expertise is coming to the Philippines. Both nations are negotiating a defense cooperation agreement with drone production at its core. Ukrainian defense officials have already presented Manila with proposals for joint production, not just aerial drones, but maritime drone boats tailor-made for archipelagic defense. If this deal is signed, the Philippines would become one of the very first countries in Asia to directly partner with Ukraine's drone industry. That's not just a technology boost. It's a leap into a new era where Filipino-made drones could patrol the skies and seas of the West Philippine Sea, backed by the lessons of a nation that's proven how drones can level the battlefield against a bigger, stronger adversary. Here's how a partnership like this could roll out, step by step. First comes a Memorandum of Understanding, which is expected as early as October 2025. This agreement would set the political foundation, a statement that Manila and Kyiv are ready to cooperate on unmanned systems. Next, officials envision a pilot program inside the Philippines, small-scale production or licensed assembly. This is where Ukrainian engineers work alongside Filipino technicians. This stage lets the armed forces see how designs adapt to tropical weather, salt air, and the logistics of an island chain. Far different from the terrain and weather conditions in Ukraine. Then comes the big leap, technology transfer. That means more than just blueprints. It's the sensors that give drones sharp eyes, the guidance software that lets them fly with precision, and the swarm coordination algorithms that allow dozens of units to move as one. If all those pieces line up, the payoff is huge. Locally built drones, tailored for Philippine needs. Some would patrol the skies above the West Philippine Sea, feeding real-time intelligence to ships and coastal batteries. Others could form defensive swarms, intercepting incoming threats. And a few, designed as loitering or kamikaze systems, might strike high-value targets at sea before they ever reach Philippine shores. For the Philippines, this isn't just about buying another platform off the shelf. It's about building a homegrown capability, developing engineers, operators, and doctrine that will last long after the ink on the deal dries. It's a chance for a nation once limited to second-hand gear to start shaping the technology that will guard its own waters. For the first time, Filipino troops may soon have tools that can offset raw numbers with pure innovation. A swarm of drones isn't just a gadget, it's a force multiplier. Small, fast, and unpredictable, these machines can reconnoiter enemy positions, confuse sensors, or dive straight into targets. They cost a fraction of traditional weapons, yet they can put billion-peso assets at risk. That's the kind of asymmetric power a modest military needs when facing a much larger one. But turning that promise into reality isn't automatic. Tropical heat, sudden downpours, and salt-laden air can sap battery life and corrode electronics. Logistics networks will have to grow to supply batteries, spare parts, and encrypted links across far-flung islands. And rivals aren't standing still. They're fielding counter-drone jammers, directed energy weapons, and electronic decoys designed to blind or hijack swarms. These challenges are serious, but not insurmountable. By working with partners who've tested drones under fire, and by training soldiers, engineers, and logisticians as a single team, the Philippines can adapt these systems to its own terrain and mission. If managed properly and done right, these drones could give every Filipino military unit eyes, speed, and striking power far beyond its size. This cooperation is about far more than hardware and software. It's a clear political signal. For Manila, teaming up with Kyiv places the Philippines firmly within the ranks of nations willing to resist aggression and defend their sovereignty. It shows that the country is ready to stand beside partners who have already faced down overwhelming odds and to learn from their experience rather than waiting years for slow-moving contracts from the usual defense giants. For Ukraine, the value is just as profound. The partnership opens doors to Asia, creates potential production sites far from the front lines, and proves that its hard-won expertise in drone warfare has global relevance. Every new ally, every manufacturing line abroad, is evidence that the tools Ukraine refined under fire are shaping security far beyond Europe. And for ordinary Filipinos, this deal carries a message of great resolve. In a world growing more dangerous by the day, the Philippines is not standing still or clinging to outdated methods. It is adapting, innovating, and preparing to defend its islands with creativity and courage. This cooperation isn't just about drones. It's about staking a claim to the future and showing that even a mid-sized power can chart its own course when it dares to invest in the technologies and alliances that matter most. The Philippines has activated its first Drone Battalion. Soon, with Ukraine's partnership, it could be building drones of its own. For an island nation that is outnumbered and outgunned, this could be the great equalizer. Watch closely in the coming months. The MOU, the first prototypes, and the moment drones made in the Philippines with Ukrainian technology take flight over the West Philippine Sea. This is more than modernization. This is a new chapter in how the Philippines will fight for its sovereignty.